Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Daxable Academy's demo class on US accounting and bookkeeping career. So, in this demo, I'll be covering how Indians can earn in dollars while working from home for a US business. We will also cover what are the skill sets required, how much you can earn, what do US businesses look for, how long it will take you to learn all the skill sets, and finally, what is an exact pathway to start your career as a US bookkeeper? I'm really excited to be doing this demo. So let's get started. Let's start with a simple question. Why are you here today? You may be here because you're switching career, you don't like your job, or your current job doesn't have enough career growth. Maybe you're underpaid, you're trying to upskill and get a better opportunity. Maybe you want to do a freelance career, you want to have the freedom of working on your own time, or you are currently unemployed and just exploring out of curiosity, what are my options, right? So, whatever the reason is, leave a comment below, and you are in the right place. If the answer is any of these four, you are in the right place. Now, let me brag a little bit about myself, who I am. So, I'm Saif Ahmed. I'm the founder of Daxable and DaxHive. You can Google them what it means. You'll find it. I have 8 years uh, experience working inside US businesses. I know exactly what US businesses need, what are the skill set these businesses need and looking to hire for. I'm a QuickBooks Certified ProAdvisor. Throughout the last 8 years, I've worked with over 100 plus US businesses. And I'm also the founder of Bangalore Entrepreneur Network, which has about 7,800 plus members. Okay, so now you know who I am. We also did a small thought experiment to understand why you are here. Now let's talk about the problem, which is true for most commerce graduates: underpaid, underemployed, or unemployed. If this sounds familiar to you, don't worry, that's why we are doing this demo. And stay tuned so you'll learn how to solve this problem. Okay, so now let's take a few seconds to think about what causes this problem. Okay, so let's look at some data. So every year we add about 14 lakh BCom graduates and 3 lakh MBA graduates. Plus, we have about 20,000 chartered accountants who enter the job market, domestic job market, every year. So now what it does is, while it's a good thing, it creates a huge supply of talent, but the domestic demand for job market is not there, right? So you have a huge supply of talents, but the demand for this job market is really less. So which causes either these talents to be underpaid, underemployed, or unemployed. Now let's look at some more data. So out of every 100 graduates, only 8 of them get a job which matches their degree. Think about that for a second. Only 8 out of 100 graduates actually get a job that matches the qualification. Now, what does that mean? That means if you're feeling stuck, underpaid, or unemployed, you are not alone. And there is a way to solve it, and we will cover that in this demo. What is the solution for this problem? The first solution is to improve your mindset, because you may have a global skill set, but your mindset is still local, right? So what do I mean by that? So what I mean by that is there are over 1,700 plus global capability centers which operates in India. These are uh, foreign firms who hire, and almost 1.9 million professionals are hired by or employed by them, and most of them are in finance and accounting role, right? And the good part is they pay 25 to 45% more than what a domestic employer pays, right? So the solution then is not that we have oversupply of talent, it's just that we are not looking at the right place or upskilling ourselves, right? So if you just learn the skills these companies are hiring for, and that would solve your problem. Now let's look at what are the skill set, right? So the first one is QuickBooks. So QuickBooks is nothing but an equivalent to Tally. QuickBooks is an accounting and bookkeeping software, just like Tally is used by domestic businesses. QuickBooks is used by US businesses and also some other global countries, primarily in US. And almost always QuickBooks is required in a bookkeeping job listing you would see online, right? So because that's what over 80% of US businesses use. So that's the number one skill set you need to learn if you need to unlock your opportunities in global market. Okay, so now you've learned QuickBooks Online. Does that mean that you would land a job? The answer is no, because QuickBooks is just a bookkeeping software, just like Tally, right? So, but in order to use it efficiently, you need to be very strong at accounting principles and foundation. Without that, learning QuickBooks is no use. For example, at an entry level as a fresher, the employers would expect that you know how to what debits and credits are, double entry bookkeeping, chart of accounts, recording invoice, bills and expenses, how to work with bank feeds and credit card feeds, and how to do basic reconciliation, right? So you need to have the skills. And if you have the skills, you can work in Tally or in QuickBooks, right? Because those are just softwares which helps a bookkeeper do the, bookkeeping. Right. So now in the screen, you would see on the left side what are the salary figures if you get employed by the US employer. And on the right side, you'd see the numbers what an domestic employer would pay for the same skill set. The domestic employer would expect you to do the same, job functions in Tally. US employer would expect you to do it in QuickBooks. Okay, that's the difference. And that difference is huge because it shows up on your paycheck. And if the domestic employer is a subsidiary of a US firm, Big Five or Big Four or KPO, you can expect the domestic salary figures to be 25 to 45% more than what's on the screen. Okay, as you advance through your bookkeeping career, so you'd be expected to do full month-end closing. You'll be expected to learn US GAAP, generally accepted accounting principles, and the financial statements to be GAAP compliant. You'll be learning accounts receivable, payable, payroll, US payroll, payroll taxes, and 1099 basics, right? So, and you have the figures of what US employers and domestic employers are paying a candidate for these skill sets. And by year three, you'd become a experienced bookkeeper, right? So the salary figures for US employer and domestic employer are on the screen. So at year three, who's considered to be an experienced bookkeeper, the skill set and the roles they do is, the employers are expecting them to do a full charge bookkeeping from start to finish, uh, do multi-entity bookkeeping and cleanup projects, review, and you'd be moving towards advisory role more than data entry and administrative task. You'd be doing a more client-facing and advisory role. And also at the same time, so this is when you can switch from bookkeeping to taxes, right? More towards advisory. There are multiple paths. There is enrolled agent path and CPA path, but bookkeeping is the foundation for that, right? So this is what a year three would look like, and in year three would be considered an experienced bookkeeper. Okay, so we've looked at the skill sets required to be a successful bookkeeper. So what does it look like in year one till year three? So year one, you start as a beginner, and year three, you become experienced, right? So we looked at all the skill sets. So now how long does it take to learn those skill sets? Does it take 1 year, 2 year, 3 year? The answer is you can learn all these skill sets. You can master them within 3 to 6 months. However, I have to be honest with you. So learning a skill set is not the same as practicing, right? So you can complete a course in 3 months, but you still have to practice and master it, uh, so that you can be considered experienced, right? And again, I'm not here to sell you a dream. I'm here to state the facts so that you know what to expect. Okay, so you can go from zero to job ready for a US bookkeeping work in 3 to 6 months, but you need to practice it. Okay, now let's look at a summary of the skill set you need. The skill set, the exact skill sets US businesses are hiring and looking for in a bookkeeper, right? So I'm giving this away for free, and I know this because I've worked with US businesses for over 8 years. So first, you need to have a very strong foundation on US GAAP, generally accepted accounting principles. You need to have mastery on QuickBooks Online and QuickBooks Payroll as well. And again, if you learn QuickBooks, because that's what 80% of the US businesses use, you can use any other software, right? But the concept is the same. You start with QuickBooks and you can go to other software like Xero, etc. So you need to know how to do reconciliation, understanding of bank feeds, and how to match transaction and clean up a books, how to do a month-end close, how to build financial statements, which is GAAP compliant. Again, the financial statements, chart of accounts, and how you design the balance sheet, even though the accounting principles remains the same, but depending on the industry you work with, the chart of accounts and balance sheet, you have to customize it. Okay, and again, payroll and 1099 basics. In this course, you will have a full detailed breakdown of different payroll forms, payroll taxes, and what 1099 forms are. And this is a big one, AI assisted bookkeeping. So there are a lot of compliances and regulations on data security. You cannot just run a client's financial data into ChatGPT or Claude. It's a violation because how you handle client's data is very confidential as a bookkeeper. And there are some rules and regulations which you need to follow. So we will teach you how to use AI safely in compliant with IRS rules and regulations. So we'll cover there is a different module which fully covers how to be compliant while using AI. And this course also covers a full roadmap of job hunt, whether you want to start as a freelancer, crack the interview in Big Four, or work for a US client directly. So we will have a full roadmap from how to build your portfolio profiles, interviews, and how to write proposals, etc. And again, most of them is not only theory, but real workflows and practical assignments would be given so that you have hands-on experience by the end of 3 months. Okay, let's assume that you've learned all the skill set I've mentioned, which is needed to be an experienced US bookkeeper. So now, what are the next steps, right? So how do I get paid? So there are three ways. The first way is to start with freelancing. You can go to sites like Upwork, Fiverr, freelancer.com, and LinkedIn, set up your profile and list the services you offer, like bookkeeping, books cleanup, payroll services, etc. And you can find a client from there. Usually, either you can list that as a gig, or some sites like Upwork, the clients post the job requirement and you can apply for the job directly as a freelancer. The advantage is you control your time and you set your rate. The disadvantages, you would be competing with 50 other global freelancers who are bidding on the same job. Okay, so this is the part which most people won't tell you. But however, so how is that better then? So I would argue that freelancing is still better because in domestic market you are competing with 500 job seekers for the same one role, but in freelancing you're just competing with 50, right? So your odds of getting the client is more if you know how to set up the profile right, how to write a proposal, and how to build a portfolio. Okay, you can learn that yourself with experience, or you can sign up for this course, which we are offering, US Bookkeeping and Accounting Pathway, and you can fast track towards your career. Okay, so the second option is KPOs in India and Big Four. Obviously, a lot of US firms are hiring in India. You don't have to take my word. Just go to Google and search for US bookkeeper jobs, right? And whatever your city is, or in India, or something like that. You'll see a lot of jobs pop up and how much they're paying for. So this includes domestic employers as well as MNCs who have offices in India, right? So for the second track, if you've learned all the skill set, you'll be able to clear interviews better than 99% of the domestic graduates who don't have the skill set, right? It'll make your interview easier, hence the chances of getting a job also increases. And the third option is working for a US client directly. How do you do it? Same method as the second option, but just look for US, right? You can put state-wise or just say US bookkeeping jobs in US, and you'd see a lot of jobs and what they pay, and you can apply directly with them, schedule an interview, clear the interview, and you get selected. Okay. And again, all of this would work only if you have the skill sets. You mastered QuickBooks, you mastered US GAAP principles, right? You know what the payroll forms are. You know how to run the payroll. What are the payroll taxes? What is double entry bookkeeping, right? So only if you master those skill set, getting a job becomes easier. Otherwise, you'd just be complaining about the economy and job market, and there is no use of it. You just be wasting time. Instead, your first step is to change the mindset, as I mentioned, and then work towards upskilling yourself so that you can be uh, employable. Okay, so we've looked at the problems. So now let's look at the odds, especially for the job seeker, right? So in my personal experience, I've seen that for each job role, like you go to Google, right, as I mentioned, and search for QuickBooks Bookkeeper in domestic market or KPO. For each job application, you'd see more than 250 plus candidates applying, right? And only 4 to 6 get to an interview, one gets hired. If you look at the probability, that's 0.5% chance per application. Okay. And again, honestly, I've seen some job rules which got about 1,000 applications as well. That reduces your probability, right? This is the exact problem we were talking about, right? Which creates underemployment, underpaid, and unemployment for the rest. So how do you beat it, right? So there are two options. One is to apply for more jobs. The second option to apply for the right jobs where fewer people have the skill sets you have, so that you have a higher chance of getting the job. And another problem I need to mention is when a job application gets 1,000 candidates applying, it's humanly impossible for a HR to select the right candidate. So who does the selection? AI does the selection, right? So you need to know how to write your resume, which is AI friendly. Okay, we will also cover that in the course, but I'm just mentioning that for free here so that you know what are the problems of getting employed. So first thing, remember AI selecting, shortlisting the candidates. So your resume should be written in a way that's ATS or AI friendly. That's where freelancing comes in, because in freelancing, you'll be competing with far less people, and your odds go up drastically because you're competing with global talent, and the number of employers also increase because you're not just looking at domestic employers, but you're expanding your search to global employers, right? So which increases your odds of landing a client compared to just people who are just looking at domestic markets. Okay, so now you've learned the skill sets needed to start your career as a US bookkeeper. You know exactly what US employers are looking for. You know where to start if you want to start as a freelancer. You know how to find and apply for a domestic job, for US companies, and you also learn how to apply for a US company directly, right? But you are not alone. Just like you, there are 500 people. I'm just making up this number. Uh, there is a probability that there are 500 other members who are doing the same as what you are doing right now. So now what are the odds to beat others who are doing the same what you're doing, right? So the number one skill that wins the competition is the communication, right? Because US clients hire the person they can talk to easily, right? So they should be able to understand what you're speaking, and the communication should be clear. You need to know how to write proposals, right? So how to speak confidently and how to sound like a partner, not like a you know desperate job seeker, right? Because when you're freelancing, you're not a job seeker, so they consider you as a partner or a vendor. So you need to know how to act like one. Okay, so learning the skills increases your probability of getting a US clients faster. Okay, here are the top four platforms if you're starting as a freelancer. So Upwork, freelancer.com, Fiverr, and LinkedIn. And again, 42% of the US small businesses outsource their bookkeeping, and you don't have to search for a client. Clients are already looking for bookkeepers, and they are posting the requirements on this website. And all you have to do is just be findable. Most Indian graduates who want to start their career in US bookkeeping and finance or accounting and finance have this question, and they struggle a lot and get confused. So, what's that question? Should I start as a bookkeeper, enrolled agent, or CPA? Because these are three different pathways to US accounting and finance, but each has its own advantage and disadvantage. So, bookkeeper is the first step where you learn basics, and without learning the basic, if you go for an enrolled agent and CPA pathway, you'd struggle. And another thing I want to mention is it also depends on how long you want to study for. Because with bookkeeping pathway, you can get started as soon as 3 months. You can learn all the basic skill sets and you can start working. And you can then start as an enrolled agent or CPA, because enrolled agent and CPA needs multiple years of study. Enrolled agent need at least a year, and the exam slots are limited. And CPA, you know, it's more tougher than enrolled agent. But if you have the time, you can spend like 18 months to 2 years and study and have the money to start and wait. You can start with enrolled agent or CPA. Or if you want to, if you are one of the smart person, you start with bookkeeping, get a job in 3 to 6 months, and then also study for enrolled agent or CPA while you're earning. I think that's the smartest way to do it. So we have almost come to the end of this workshop, and I hope the information I shared is very helpful, and you can use that information to kickstart your career and move to the next steps. So you've learned what are the problems in the job market, how to start as a freelancer, what are the skill sets US businesses are looking for, and how to find employers and apply for a job, right? So yes, you can do it yourself. I've given everything away for free, or you can have somebody guide you step by step to fast track your career, whether it's a freelancer uh, looking for a job or want to work for US client directly. So we in Daxable Academy have two pathways for bookkeeper. So we have a beginner, which is 6 week, and we have an advanced course which is 12 weeks. So you can go to daxable.com/academy and download the full course syllabus, because that keeps changing with each batch, because we keep adding and refining the syllabus based on the market condition and what the employers are actually looking for. So just visit daxable.com/academy and you'd find the details of both these courses. So a little bit more about the Daxable Academy's courses. All the courses are live online classes, 2 hours a day, So what we need is 6 hours commitment a week. So we have morning classes, which is 6 to 8, and evening classes 6 to 8. So this entire course was designed in such a way so that it can support both working professionals, um, students, as well as somebody who wants to start their own business, right? So every class is recorded. If you miss a class, don't worry. So we'll have an online portal which we're building, and the live classes recording would be shared with you. So this is more a hands-on workshop on QuickBooks with real US client style books, not just theory. So every week there would be practical assignments which would be given, which you're required to submit. So only if you can commit to those practical assignments, you sign up for the course. So Intuit certification and exam voucher is included, which will be conducted directly by Intuit. So for beginner, you would be given access to Intuit ProAdvisor, US Intuit Certified Bookkeeper. For advanced, you will have access to multiple exams. In addition to the US Bookkeeper, you will also have access to Payroll Certified, Intuit Payroll Certified Professional as well. So placement support for both track is provided. We'll teach you how to build resume, portfolio interviews, etc. Both track, we will give you access to the job groups we have, which we have tied up with recruiters who constantly, periodically keep posting the requirements, and you have the first-hand experience to apply for those jobs before they even post it on LinkedIn and Indeed. Okay, another advantage with this course, especially with the advanced track, which is for 12 weeks, it includes a 1 month paid internship with DaxHive, because we understand that the hardest part of any first job is experience, right? So employers look for experience, and candidates struggle without that experience. So we included a 1 month paid internship so that it makes it easier for the job seeker to add this DaxHive experience in the resume. Right. And this internship is optional. It's not for everyone. It's not mandatory. It's for top performing students, and we have limited seats per batch, right? And the stipend would be shared at the end of 3 months when the interview for internship is conducted. Okay, so now the million-dollar question everybody has been waiting to ask me: what does this cost? So the answer is go to daxable.com/academy, because the pricing and the syllabus and the batches keep changing. And the best way to find out is go to daxable.com/academy. Having said that, I want to clarify a few things. So Daxable's primary business is not selling courses. Daxable's business is to offer bookkeeping and accounting and payroll services to US businesses. So you notice that we don't do a we don't sell dreams to students who are already struggling. We don't you know overpromise job seekers. So what Daxable offers is a clear pathway for you to get started with US accounting and bookkeeping skills. And you would also notice that we are not very aggressive with our sales. Most of the people who find us organically through Google search, ChatGPT, or Facebook. So if you are really serious, you can sign up for the course, or if you want to do it yourself, I've given away the pathway, the skill sets, and how to start uh, as a freelancer, everything in this demo. You can do it yourself as well. But if you want help, you can sign up for the courses offered by Daxable Academy, and we can help you fast track your career. Okay, now let's look into some commonly asked or frequently asked questions. And if you have any questions which I did not cover, leave that in the comments section below, and I'll do my best to answer them for you. Okay, so the first question we have is, do I need experience of specific degree? The answer is no. Even if you are not a graduate, you can take this US accounting and bookkeeping pathway. You just need to be motivated so that you can grasp the concepts of debits, credits, double entry bookkeeping, etc. But if you have a degree in accounting or any kind of accounting or commerce or MBA background, this is going to be easy for you. So the two things I'd still expect from you to succeed in this pathway is good communication and motivation. Let's move on to the next question. What if I miss a live class? This is the most frequently asked question. You will be provided with the recording. So far, most of the classes are live, but it may change in future because it doesn't make sense to explain the same concept 2 times a day for me. So I am thinking about making a live classes separate and recording separate, like a hybrid version in the future. But for now, all the classes are live, recorded, and if you miss for any reason, you can find it in your portal where you can watch it back. Is there a money back guarantee? Yes. If you're canceling before the course starts, you get 100% refund. For beginner track, the course within 7 days after the course starts, you can request for a refund. And for advance, you get 30 days time after the course starts to request for a refund. I'd request you to be ethical and practical when requesting for a refund because we put a lot of time, effort, and resources to develop these courses. And if there is a genuine reason you want to request for refund, yes, so we have a refund policy in our website, which is very flexible compared to most course providers. You can look into that. Let's move on to the next question. Will you actually help me get a job? So this is a very technical question. Most people think that you complete a course and we are obliged to find you a job, but that's not how it works, right? So we'll peel the banana for you, but you have to chew and eat it. What that means is we'll help you with the assistance, job assistance. So we'll help you build a resume. We'll help you guide with the portfolio, interview prep. We'll give you access to private WhatsApp groups where job openings are um, posted before it goes in LinkedIn and Indeed. And we'll show you the direction and provide all the placement assistance, but you have to attend the interview and clear it. We cannot attend the interview for you. And yeah, so the short answer is we'll help you with your placement support. Isn't the QuickBooks certification free? So QuickBooks Intuit offers a free QuickBooks certification, but it mostly covers their own product, like how to use QuickBooks, how to navigate, and etc. If you want to do it yourself, you can, like I mentioned in this workshop, you can just Google QuickBooks certification and you can do it. But in this workshop or in this course, we cover more than just QuickBooks. We cover US GAAP, a lot of practical experience, job hunt, AI, etc., which you'll not get in the free QuickBooks free course offered by QuickBooks. However, the free certification which QuickBooks offers is also a part of this course. You'll be given access to the portal where you can access all the certifications offered by QuickBooks. Right. So we are also giving you the exam voucher directly through into it. So if you're confident that you can clear the exam by studying by yourself, go ahead and sign up for that. So we are not stopping you. Can I pay in installment or start small? Yes, you can find more details in the website. So we don't offer um, installments for the beginner course, but for the advanced course, we are very flexible. And again, so like I mentioned, we are not into the business of selling courses. Our primary business is offering bookkeeping and payroll service to US businesses. And, so the goal of Daxable Academy is to upskill. And so we have a monthly installment plan on the website for advanced track, which you can explore on daxable.com/academy. Okay, so we have come to an end on this workshop. So let's look at the bottom line. And today, whether you are underemployed, underpaid, or unemployed, so you have attended this workshop. You're competing for crowded domestic job market. The skills are priced in rupees, and you did not know where to start before you attended this workshop. So hopefully, now you know where to start. In 3 to 6 months, you can be job ready for US clients. You know how to start your career as a freelancer and go global, what platforms and how to find clients, right? So I've covered that in the workshop. And you know the exact skills you need to learn now. so that you can earn in dollars and start your career, and you have a clear plan on where to go from here and build your portfolio, right? So I hope this workshop was helpful. If it was, then leave your comments below on how it was helpful. If you have any questions, or if there is anything I could have done better, mention that in the comments below and I'll make sure I'll work on it. Okay, one last gentle reminder. If you'd like to sign up for the course, visit daxable.com/academy. The batches are Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so we do need 6 hours commitment from you, morning and evening classes. We have limited seats. Maybe by the time you're seeing this, it may have been filled, and you may be put on wait list so that whenever the next batch starts, we'll reach out to you. And again, so if you need to ask me anything, you can reach out to me on this email or this WhatsApp number, or you can also put your comments on this video below, and I'll do my best to answer it. Thank you. Good luck.